Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well today. This is actually going to be my last poem of the day. I looked back at YouTube and saw that this will be my 64th video. I started recording on March 18th, not realizing that we would be out of school for so long. But I want to thank everyone who participated in this project. I've recorded 64 poems, but there are so many more in that Poem of the Day document that people throughout the staff of Arlington High School have contributed to. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for contributing, for listening, for being part of this. It has brought me a lot of peace and joy in this time, and I really appreciate you being part of it too. So I wanted to share a poem by Rita today, partly because I realized I hadn't read any poems by Rita, so I wanted to include her voice in this collection of videos. Rita, I'm reading from this book of her selected poems. She was the Poet Laureate of the US from 1993 to 1995. She is a really well-respected, highly regarded poet. I'm going to read a poem today called "The Hill Has Something to Say," and it's from her 1983 collection, Museum. And I'm reading this poem because I think it's beautiful, and I think it also asks us to pay attention to voices that we might not pay attention to enough. So here it is, "The Hill Has Something to Say" by Rita. But isn't talking. Instead, the valley groans as the wind, amphoric, hoots its one bad note. Halfway up, we stop to peek through the smudged pine. This is Europe and its green terraces. And takes its time. What's left to climbs inside us, earth rising, stupefied. It's not all in the books, but maps don't lie. The hill has a right to stand here. One knob in the coiled spine of a peasant who, forgetting to flee, simply lay down forever. Bootstrap and spur, harrow and pitchfork, a bugle, a sandal, clay head of a pipe. For all we know, the wind's inside us, pacing our lungs. For all we know, it's spring, and the ground moistens as raped maids break to blossom. What's invisible sings, and we bear witness. If we would listen. Underfoot, slow wait, scavenger time, and the little old woman who lives there still. I think this poem is asking us to pay attention to history, to pay attention to voices we don't listen to enough. I know I've been focusing on Black activist poets these last couple of weeks, and there are so many resources in terms of reading lists. I know I put out a reading list to my students, but I want to be super clear and say that the point of reading Black artists or artists of color is not just so we can learn things about racism and better understand our country. That's part of it, but it's also because this work is really beautiful. And we're living in this world where we really need to be intentional about seeking out voices who are different from our own. It's so easy to get stuck in the same sorts of news cycles or friends sharing the same sorts of materials that you would share. But it's really important to seek out voices that have been marginalized, have been oppressed over the years, because we need to hear them and because they're beautiful. And I hope that I challenge you to seek out these voices as I try to do all the time. I try to keep doing more and more every day because I find, of course, whenever I read a voice that I think is different from mine, I find all of these connections to myself. And I think that's kind of why we read. So again, thank you so much for watching these videos, for being part of this, and I hope you have a great summer. Thank you.